All right, let's descend into the fog. We're heading into the grimy, morally ambiguous world of Joseph Conrad's 1907 novel, The Secret Agent. And we're not just going to look at this as a book. No, we're going to perform an autopsy on a city, on a conspiracy, and really on the very nature of terror itself. So, where does our story begin? Well, it doesn't start with a person. It starts with a place. This grimy, totally unassuming little shop in London, which is really the dark heart of the whole narrative. You can almost feel the dampness, the grime. It's a relic of a dirtier, much shadowier time. During the day, it's sealed up tight, completely anonymous. But at night, that door is left just suspiciously ajar. And that's both an invitation and a warning, isn't it? It's the perfect symbol for this secret, festering underbelly of the city. And once you're inside, wow, Conrad just immediately drowns you in this atmosphere of secrecy and petty vice. I mean, look at the inventory. It's a collection of cheap thrills. You've got these suggestive photographs, suspicious-looking packages, and all these radical newspapers that promise to set the world on fire but really just deliver empty words. And everything, everything, right down to the gas jets that are always turned low, just screams that this is a world hiding from prying eyes. This isn't some grand center for revolution. It's a sordid little business that deals in the illusion of rebellion. And the clientele? They are just as shadowy as the shop itself. People don't just walk in here. They slip in. They dodge in. These are men who seem terrified of making a sound, their collars pulled way up, trying to avoid setting off that cracked, nasty little bell on the door. You see, these aren't confident revolutionaries. These are figures from the London underworld, guys without money, all seeking something illicit in the dim light. It just adds to this palpable sense of a city built on secrets, where every single transaction is furtive and every motive is suspect. Okay, so at the center of this whole grimy web sits the proprietor, the secret agent himself, Mr. Verloc. But here's the thing, he's not the dynamic, ruthless spy you might be expecting. Not at all. Conrad gives us something far more unsettling. An agent of pure inertia. And right here, this is the central paradox of Mr. Verloc. On the surface, he's the picture of mundane respectability, a solid, kind of boring man of business. But underneath all that, he just exudes this moral nihilism. He profits not from honest work, but from human weakness. That respectable exterior, it's just a mask, and a pretty good one, for a profound, cavernous moral emptiness. And this is the crucial point. Verloc, our supposed radical agent, is defined by what is almost a religious devotion to doing absolutely nothing. Conrad elevates his laziness to a philosophy. It's not just idleness. It's a deep, fanatical commitment to inertia. Think about that. A fanatical inertness. It's a constitutional aversion to any and all exertion. So yeah, this is not the masterful spy from the movies. Verloc's one and only primary motivation is to maintain his comfortable, lazy existence, whatever the cost. He's an agent, sure, but he serves the embassy of his own comfort. He observes, he reports just enough to get paid, and his entire professional life is built around one thing, preserving his domestic tranquility. He's the ultimate parasite, feeding on both the system he pretends to undermine and the one that secretly employs him. But this life of calculated laziness, it's about to be shattered. The delicate equilibrium that Verloc has maintained for years is about to be violently disrupted. He gets summoned to a foreign embassy, and he's given a terrifying new assignment that threatens the very core of his being, his repose. His new handler, the chillingly sophisticated Mr. Vladimir, basically tells him his cozy little arrangement is over. The quiet reports, the passive observations, they're not enough anymore. The embassy demands action. They need something to shock the complacent British public out of their, quote, sentimental regard for individual liberty. The age of passive intelligence is over. The age of active terror is about to begin. And then Vladimir, he just lays out this disturbingly modern theory of terrorism. He says, look, forget attacking kings or churches. That's old-fashioned. It's predictable. The true sacrosanct fetish of the modern age, he argues, is science. And an attack on science? Well, that isn't just an attack on a building. It's an assault on reason itself. What's so wild here is that Conrad, through this character, is predicting a new kind of terror, one aimed not at military or political targets, but at the very psyche of a society. The goal is maximum psychological impact through an act of pure, irrational destruction. And here it is. This is the core of his logic. True terror, he says, doesn't come from violence you can understand. It comes from an act so senseless, it shatters a society's belief in a logical world. It has to be an act of pure, destructive ferocity that can't be explained away by politics or class warfare. It has to look like sheer madness, because madness is the one thing civilization can't negotiate with. You can't bribe it, you can't threaten it, it's the ultimate horror. So the target can't be a person or a political building. It has to be abstract, symbolic. Vladimir actually dismisses an attack on art, like the National Gallery, as not serious enough. No, it has to be science. He even says it would be perfect to throw a bomb into pure mathematics. But since you can't really do that, he settles for the next best thing, astronomy. And just like that, the target is chosen. Vladimir proposes an attack on time itself, an assault on the prime meridian, the line from which the entire rational world measures its existence. I mean, think about it. It's a landmark whose very being is based on rational order and scientific precision. To bomb Greenwich is to bomb the clockwork of the universe, to try and create a crack in the very edifice of logic. It is, as Vladimir calls it, an act of ferocious imbecility. So the big question is, how is the profoundly lazy Mr. Verloc, the man whose whole life is a monument to inertia, going to carry out this act of ferocious imbecility? The answer is actually pretty simple. He won't. No way. He is far too dedicated to his own comfort. Instead, he'll find someone else to do it, an instrument he can manipulate without any of that superfluous exertion on his part. And that instrument? Well, it becomes the novel's most tragic figure, Stevie, Mrs. Verloc's brother. Stevie is a young man of profound and painful sensitivity. He feels the suffering of the world so acutely that the pain of a beaten horse can make him literally shriek in agony. He finds his only solace in drawing endless perfect circles, a desperate attempt to impose some kind of order on a chaotic world he just can't comprehend. And his entire being is guided by a pure, uncomplicated love for his sister Winnie. Now, what's really telling is how Verloc's so-called anarchist associates see Stevie. They don't see him with compassion. No, they see him with this cold, scientific judgment. One of them, Conrad, dismisses him using the pseudo-scientific jargon of the day, citing the theories of a criminologist named Lombroso to label him a degenerate just based on the shape of his ears. It's this brutal, dehumanizing lens that shows you these supposed revolutionaries have no humanity themselves. It's chilling. And this brilliant contrast right here sets up the central tragedy of the entire novel. On one side, you have Stevie's world, which is governed by pure, almost unbearable empathy and a love for simple, perfect order. And on the other side, you have Verloc's world of cynical self-interest, more laziness, and the cold-blooded exploitation of others. The cynical political game being played by men like Vladimir and Verloc is about to collide head-on with Stevie's innocent, hypersensitive reality, and he is going to be the one caught in the blast. And this whole thing leaves us with a final, really unsettling thought. Conrad's novel, written over a century ago, feels terrifyingly contemporary, doesn't it? It forces us to look beyond the person holding the bomb and ask, where does the responsibility for such a senseless act of destruction truly lie? Is it with the cold theorist, like Vladimir, the lazy, self-serving functionary, like Verloc? Or does the rot go deeper, into the very fabric of a society that allows men like this to flourish in its shadows? The mystery, Conrad suggests, it hangs over us still.